History is rarely made in a single day. But for New Zealand, the clock didn't stop during a war or a pandemic. It stopped on July 1, 2023. On that day, the Australian Prime Minister opened a door that had been locked for 20 years, a direct path to citizenship. And with it, the last barrier holding back the flood broke. In the year that followed, nearly 60% of all citizens leaving New Zealand went to one place. Not the UK, not America, Australia. This wasn't a brain drain. It was a national evacuation. To understand why, you need to think of New Zealand not as a country, but as a nursery. A world-class, state-funded nursery for human capital. It costs the New Zealand taxpayer, on average, $285,000 to raise a child to the age of 18. The state invests billions in their education, from primary school to university, crafting a skilled, English-speaking and productive workforce. And then, they leave. Australia reaps the harvest. It gets a fully formed, tax-paying adult for free. This is the nursery economy theory. New Zealand pays for the development. Australia gets the dividend. The pull isn't just the weather. It's the math. For every hour worked, the average Australian generates over 50% more economic value than their New Zealand counterpart. This isn't about working harder. It's about capital deepening. Australia has a capital-intensive economy built on mining and high-tech manufacturing. It digs iron ore out of the ground, and it mines New Zealand for its most valuable resource: people. This productivity chasm creates a structural wage premium. A nurse in Australia doesn't just earn more. Their retirement savings grow faster. The choice becomes brutally simple. And now, Australia isn't just waiting for them to come. It's actively poaching them. This is the blue drain. Australian police recruiters are targeting New Zealand officers with massive cash incentives. A first-year constable in New Zealand makes $83,000. Their counterpart in the Northern Territory can make the equivalent of $120,000, plus a housing allowance. You can't compete with that. The consequences are hollowing out New Zealand's institutions. In towns like Taupo, the local hospital has faced the threat of closure, not because of a lack of funding but a lack of doctors. The very fabric of the state is fraying. The irony is that this was always a possibility. Section 6 of the Australian Constitution explicitly names New Zealand as a potential future state of the Commonwealth. For over a century, it was a historical curiosity. Now, it feels like a prophecy. States like Tasmania receive huge fiscal transfers from the federal government to maintain their services. New Zealand gets none of that. It is becoming a dependency without a safety net, a satellite state governed from Wellington, but powered by Canberra. When a nation can no longer staff its own police force or its own hospitals, is it still truly sovereign? The Albanese Effect didn't create this crisis. It merely exposed the structural flaw in the relationship. A one-way open door isn't a partnership. It's an asymmetric union. And for New Zealand, it's leading to a silent demographic collapse. The question is no longer if New Zealand will become a hollow isle, but what happens when there's no one left to turn off the lights.